Hi everybody, this is episode 1 of SilkeKnitsInTX, TX for Texas. My name is Silke, I'm originally from Germany and I live in San Antonio, Texas, and I have decided to do a knitting podcast. First off, what am I wearing? I made a cardigan not too long ago and let me see. I'm all new to this, so forgive me. It's just basic little balloonish arms, shorter, so I can wash my hands. Cardigan sweater, and I've opted for red buttons from Amazon. It's really difficult to get nice buttons, so... Oh, oopsies, something fell. This is my first time recording podcast. Well, actually the first time was a disaster, but I'm new to the technology, so forgive me if things are going wrong today. I start off with finished projects. One of them is a simple sweater, no pattern, big arms, and it's ice yarns. Norsk is a alpaca wool and acrylic blend. It's quite warm. I did it on really big needles. It's shining in the light. Let's do it this way. Really big needles, and it took me about 3 weeks to do, so that's a good record for me on that sweater. Do I have more finished? Yes, I do. It was Christmas, and today is 2 days after Christmas. And in October, I started the knit along with Arne Carlos, their stocking, and I made the Christmas stocking. And look how pretty that came out. So this is made with Drops Nord yarn, and what's really interesting is that it feels like the ice yarn Norsk and has the same composition of yarns, acrylic, alpaca, and wool. So that was very interesting. I felt the Norsk, I'm like, I know that feeling, and I was like, oh man, that's the Nord from Drops. It feels like the Norsk from ice yarn. The Norsk is thicker, but ice yarn also sells a thinner version, and it's called Norsk Light. So what I did here is trying to figure out if I can show that. A little cable action. Try to zoom in. And to make a little variation of that. Once Arne started here with red, I'm like, I cannot do red again. I need to bring in the green from, let me see if this is better. As the light has a halo, so, or the knitting, which is nice, but maybe for some people not so much. So I wanted to bring in the yellow and the green from the bottom of the stocking up here, because there's quite a lot of red and blue. There's some yellow in the candles. So I made a little I-cord and tied it, and I also did a green design, which I just winged. No pattern on that one, but that's how I am. I'm a free spirit knitter. I'm not very good in reading patterns, so most of the garments I made, I just make up. It's basically, I mean, we were taught in school that knitting is basically rectangles for front and back and arms, but it's very sophisticated nowadays with the raglans and a lot of sweaters out there. I don't know, I have not done a raglan yet because I'm not sure if I can do it, but my niece encouraged me to try it, so hopefully I can figure it out in the future. Let's see, what else did I finish? Also in October, I finished this scarf, and it's called, is it the right way? Yes. It's called the silk fern scarf, and I don't know who the pattern did. I apologize. And it's pretty easy for me to follow that pattern. It was free. It's not very complicated, and it looks pretty darn good. And the reason why I started with a scarf like that, I know a lady, she has an alpaca ranch close by, and she gives me yarn. I make scarves for her shop or for herself with the alpaca yarn, and that's very exciting. And I don't have the ones I made here because I gave it to her, so I thought I'd show my pumpkin spice latte fall color. I ordered that on Etsy, and it's not really my color for socks. It was a mini skein and a regular skein of sock yarn. So I just made the scarf, and look, if it's one color, it looks pretty darn nice too. I shouldn't say darn, but forgive me. Pretty nice, and I used the mini to extend this. I didn't wear it, but I used it as a table runner for my coffee table in the living room, so that was pretty cool too. All right, and I always have socks. Oh, before I go to socks, I made hand warmers, and those are very exciting. The hand warmers, and the color comes out pretty good. It's a little bit bluish, I want to say. And it was hooks and needles, which I had some leftovers from a box I ordered, and I added drops mohair chalk. I believe the color was chalk, and I knit those up. I'm super proud of those because I had to figure out how many stitches. So I did the first try, and I opened it back up, and then I did, I figured out maybe I use 18 on each needle, so 36, and then I knitted up, and then I increased. No, I didn't increase. I made a hole. I just stopped and went back and forth instead of the round, and then up there I casted on 4 stitches to give it more room up here so it doesn't cut into my finger. I don't like that feeling. I also increased, and then I decreased. My decreases are not very pretty. I didn't want to figure out the SSK, so I knit 2 together in the back loop. But I mean, it doesn't matter. They fit like a glove. Funny. So I always do socks. I've made several pairs in November, December. I do have a little Christmas business, and I didn't have much time to knit. It was very unfortunate, but here we go. I made these. These are made with RW custom yarn. It's from Osage County, Oklahoma, and I don't remember what the colorway was. I'm so sorry, because I didn't plan on doing a podcast and talk about it. I also made Christmas socks, West Yorkshire Spinner signature. They had these with sparkle in it, and this was called Jewel Tide. And These are nutcracker, also really sparkly, same Yorkshire Spinners signature. And I ordered a Zauberball, it was called Tropical Fish, on Amazon. So I got these, and if you're familiar or not, Zauberball has two different colors spun together, and it's a surprise each section. What you get what you get. And it made this design on one sock and this design on the other sock. I like it. It's a very robust yarn. Now some of you might think, why does this crazy lady in Texas wear socks? I found that knitted socks are very moisture wicking, and it gets chilly in air-conditioned environment. So I've decided to start wearing my socks, and it's really good for my foot health. And the Germans have a saying, keep your feet warm so you don't get sick. And that's pretty much what I do. So let's see. I watched YouTube podcasts the other night, and I saw, oh my gosh, everything tangled up. I saw the sailor slippers, and I had to make them. I'm not finished yet because I had to put it away. I ran into a little problem. So one was finished already, and when I did the second one, I've noticed that I made a mistake. I missed 18 rows of the sole. And this is number 2, which I pretty much kept up. And this is number 1, which I had to open up, and I have to open it up here and then figure out. Maybe I just start over with the sole because I don't know. It's not right, and I have to fix it. Once I have a little bit more time, I'm gonna travel for work soon, so hopefully I can work on that. Maybe that's the only thing I take. And my socks, I always have socks. And I can work on that, and then felt toes. That is a scary thought. So back to patterns. I'm not very smart in figuring out patterns, and I don't know why that is, because everybody else doesn't have that issue. They get a pattern and they talk about it and they say how easy it is, and I just don't find it easy. I think partially it's because of the abbreviations. I'm not very good in abbreviations. And how it's written, I'm a bullet point person. I'm not good with narrative paragraphs. So like the sailor slippers has a paragraph written to how many rows to do and how many more times of the repeats, and it was very difficult. I have knitted stuff from patterns. I'm looking at my emotional support chickens over there. I made 7 of them. I do make the same mistake at the same section over and over because I don't know, it just doesn't click. But I think the last one I made, it went much better. But I keep on trying. One of my first ones was the Baa-ble Hat by, did I write it down? No, I'm sorry. The one with the sheep on it, and I really wanted to make it, so I got the pattern, I got yarn. Unfortunately, I got really scratchy yarn, wool, and it's hard to wear when it when it's cold, it's fine, but once it gets to 40 degrees, it gets really itchy on my head. But I wear it anyways, like a trooper, because I like it so much. And that was the second thing I started knitting. I knitted after. Okay, so let me roll back. I learned how to knit in elementary school. We had a class on knitting, crocheting, sewing, the different stitches. And I figured out how to knit a dress for my Barbie. My cousins knit sweaters. I always thought it was really, really cool. I was intimidated by what happens if I lose stitches, and I wouldn't be able to fix that. However, in 2021, I did work in an arena, and Harry Styles was coming for a concert, and his cardigan was very, from J.W. Anderson, was very, very popular. So I figured it would be great to make one and to wear it, but I was crocheting, and I figured I'd just crochet it, but it just didn't work out. So I've decided to get knitting needles, and J.W. Anderson graciously published the pattern, and I figured out how to make the little squares to put the cardigan together. And I was wearing it during the concert. It was so awesome to see those young girls with all those different cardigans and their interpretation and colors. It was very, very nice. I'm glad I did it. They were excited. I was excited. It was really, really cool to see 16,000 and 12,000 maybe had all those cardigans made just for the concert, or they love Harry Styles. And it was viral on TikTok, I believe, at that time. I didn't TikTok as much. And social media, I don't have an Instagram account for the knitting or my personal. The last time I went on there, it was just advertising. And I was very disheartened not to get my posts from people I know. And I've decided I won't go back for a while at least. So I'm gonna be here, and I have a TikTok. Maybe I do some TikTok stuff for the knitting, knit talk, how people call it. So let's see what projects I have going on. Way too many. We all know sometimes I used to do one project at a time. Then I did one project and socks, and now it's like cast on stuff. This guy is a cardigan, and it's drops. Show you drops. Soft tweed. It's a raven, is the dark one, and salt and pepper and salt, pepper and salt is the other one, and it's striped. And the reason why I started that is because I, believe it or not, had a sweater made with drops. It was strawberry pink, or just strawberry, and a raven, and I love that sweater. It's a little big because I lost weight since then. However, I couldn't find it anywhere. And then one day I found it, and it was exactly 3 days after I ordered this yarn. I have a ball here, drop soft tweed. It's super fine alpaca, merino wool, and viscose. 50 wool, 25 alpaca, 25% viscose. So when I washed it, it got really soft. And one of those sweaters I made. Another project I'm working on is for my mama, my mom. And I got some green yarn. It's La Jolla Baa yarn. And I got it from a local store, yarn store. So it looks pretty much the way it looks here on the camera. I don't know how it comes out on film, video film. And I started several different designs. I ended up with doing the pressed flowers design, but I don't like it. So I'm gonna rip it open, and it doesn't come out the way I thought. I'm gonna do a half fisherman's rib shawl scarf, and the way I do it is I'm gonna do the green, and I start little and then I increase on each side every 8 stitch, which I've done here. Let's see, all tangled up, of course. I've done here. This is the right side, half fisherman's rib with some color changing yarn. It's actually sock yarn, but super sock. It is super because when I got it, it's like DK, and I don't think DK socks are my thing. It's Viking of Norway, but it's made in China. So do not use fabric softener. If anyone knows, why not, put it in the comments. I really want to know why. 75 superwash wool, which means wool, and 25% nylon. All right, let's get this untangled. I'm also knitting a cat, and you're like, what, a cat? It feels like it. So in the 80s, they had those nice mohair sweaters, and I always wanted one. I did buy yarn and try to make a sweater. I lived in England, and it went front piece, back piece, and I sewed it together, and it was, I don't know what happened to it, but it was not cool. So the other day, well, weeks ago, I watched a German murder mystery, and this lady was wearing one of those black mohair sweaters, and I'm like, I need to make one. It's just, there's just no way. And 3 days, it's always the 3 days. 3 days later, I went to a doctor's office, and there's a yarn store close by, and I went there, and on sale they had this. I walked around the store and I carried those like kittens. It's Katja, Ingenua, Non-Stop Creativity, and it's 100% you, it says. It was on sale in the sale section. They had 5, which was perfect because some German brands, they have a sweater, and in the sweater it says T42. That means 42 circumference around your chest, and you need 5 balls. Underneath is the 5, and they had 5, so I took all 5, and I'd rather have too much yarn than not enough. And I did the front. I knit in pieces, so. And I used my Jogu. I can't see the size, but I think they're 6 millimeters. And I started the back gonna do short rows. I made a little front action here, and that's one of my projects that are going. I have to start focusing on one and finish it. All this started stuff is just too much for me to handle. Oh, and going back to this, I don't know if I said the yarn. Lana, no, I don't think I did. Lana Crossa Airy is the yarn. I saw it in Germany when I went on vacation, and I made an orange sweater. Meanwhile, I made a navy blue one and this red cardigan. And it just feels so good, and my husband is all over me because it's so soft, so it's pretty cool. Let's see. Going back to the alpacas, I'm making a commissioned scarf again. Same silk fern scarf, cash silk fern scarf. Cash silk fern scarf. And this time it's brown alpaca hair wool with sparkly in it. Look, it's super amazing. Love it. So I'm doing that. And then socks. You've seen my red ones. Where did it go? Disappeared. Everything disappeared. It's one of those days. Oh, right here. This was sold at a trunk show at the local yarn store, which I happened to go there, RW Custom Yarns. And I bought a red one and a green one. And green is not my color, but I wanted to do something striped for Christmas, which I didn't, but I did an Icelandic cast off, and I'm not a fan of it. Did a 3x1 rip, don't like that either, but the socks are so comfortable, which led me to make green socks. And this one, I wish I know where the other one went. Just disappeared. I'll show it next time. I'm doing a pattern on top of the foot and then around. I've done it before, and it's pearl knit, in increments of 4, 3 rows, 1 on the needle. And then once I go back around for the top, I'm going to do 4 rows, 1 on the needle, and alternate. So when I purl, I'm going to knit. Where I knit, I'm going to purl. I did that before with a color changing yarn. It was a suggestion I saw on one of the podcasts. And I like it. It changes it up a little bit. I also did color work before, but it's not my thing for socks, and I will do a sock episode, just to talk about all of my socks, because according to my husband, I can do 1 pair a week, which is of course not true. Let's see. I also work on the second pair of socks. Yes, I bought more yarn for I didn't want to do it, but so I'm using the Crazy Trio bamboo for my socks, and I bought a second pair, and those are so cute. I bought them on Amazon, and they come in a little box. It has a little booklet in it. Maybe I'll show it next time. and it has instructions how to make socks for, oh my gosh, that was my Achilles heel. Another reference here. And I tried and tried. I couldn't do it. I ordered yarn. It was Christmas yarns in 2023. It was a mini and a skein, and it had instructions that came with it how to make a sock, and I did. It was a disaster. I constantly lost stitches out of nowhere, and it was really, really tough to make the sock, but I worked myself through, and I said never again, and I'm lucky I kept on, I'm happy I kept on going, because now I have like over 30 pair of socks. And I couldn't learn, and I watched video over video. I watched a video for hours that just, you can literally knit along a sock, and that was too complicated. And then one day, I've decided to knit along, to watch Arne Carlos. This is one of the podcasts I watch. He had some tutorials, and it showed how he does the heel and how he starts the sock, and I've modified it to this, and I've cast on 16, 8 on each needle, and I start one row in the round, and then I increase one on each side. I make one where you go up in knit and then go in the back and pull another one until I have 28 on each side, and then I go around up to the heel. Sometimes I measure with a measuring device. I don't have it here, but I will show that in the future in my section. I'm too stupid to. And or I just put it on my foot and see how far it goes. It's okay to make mistakes on socks, because guess what? It's in the shoe. Who can tell, right? Unless you go to people's house, then you just pick a pair that's like perfect. Yeah, as far as needles, I bought myself for Christmas. I had extra money, so I got a bunch of yarn and the Chaogu Bamboo Mini. No, it was called small set, and it's just smaller needles. That was in my budget, and that's what I got. Sometimes Walmart sells it for $88, but I missed out on that sale. They sold out. Or I used my other interchangeable, which was a Christmas gift last year, I want to say. I also use plastic prim. I like those too, and when I did DPNs, I used the prim ones. They were pretty awesome to make socks. But now I use the Crazy Trio, which is so much better. Yeah, now I made some purchases. The trunk show for RW custom yarn. I bought this. Oh, look at the color, love it. And it's, what did she say? It's merino, but it's 1 ply. So it's very thin. I don't know if you can tell on camera. Also bought the green one, which green is I call it my anti-color. I don't really care for green much. I do have an apple green sock set, which I made because it was more neon, but it's so pretty. But it's not suitable for socks. So I don't know what to make with it. I saw a whole bunch of different things, but it would be great for a Sophie scarf. I don't know. There are other scarf options I'm looking at. Maybe it goes into my stash until next Christmas, most likely. I also did it, knitting for Olive. I'm gonna make a black sweater. Black is my favorite garment color, and so far, no sweater in black, all kinds of colors. And I got the Lakritz, knitting for Olive, merino, merino licorice, which is Lakritz in the country it's coming from, Lakritz, and it's Lakritz in German too, so it's very thin, very, very thin. I don't know, people out there, if I'm gonna enjoy it, even with the, I mean, look, oh my gosh, the lighting is driving me crazy. Yesterday was pretty. I should have both mohair, silk mohair, crazy. So I did a swatch, and I didn't write it down. I didn't write down what needles I used or how many stitches. And it's tiny, so I need to finish one garment before I start another one. But I also bought this, my dream come true. It was on my wish list, well, my dream list, dream board, whatever you call it. It's Malabrigo Rios, and it's called Ravelry Red. So nice. I had it in my cart many times, or tried to buy it and it was out of stock, but this time, yay! Oh, it smells like vinegar, the Malabrigo, and it discolors everything. I did a sweater and I did the arms with DPNs, the prim plastic. They're white, and now they're like white with a hint of purplish blue. I love that sweater. I'm gonna talk about it some other time because there's a story to it. Most knittings have a story, and for example, I went to a hotel that had a carpet with those colors in it, and it was so intriguing. I took a picture and I stash dived for, I wanted to make that half fisherman's rib scarf after seeing Andrea Maury's jaunty. I was like, I can do that. I was like, wait a minute, I have this giant sock yarn, and I'm gonna use that. So yeah, these two, it's heavily on my list. Another one I bought, I went to DFW Fiber Fest. Oh, so nice. I'm not good with crowds, so once it got busy, I start sweating, getting anxious. So I just focused on the yarn, on the different booths they had. I tried to find dyers that I bought on Etsy from. They were Texans, and I found a bunch. So that was pretty cool. And that's when I had my first account. It sounds like I'm a super fan, but it just happened that she was there. I bought a 50-gram skein, which is not enough for a pair of socks. And since it has some black in it, I'm gonna do black toes and heel and top. I do have black yarn. That's exciting. And I bought my mom at the yarn store these guys. I wish they were sock. It was sock yarn. I would totally make socks out of that and think about something else for my mother. But I had to take another sock yarn, and I hope it's just as soft and nice knitting up like this one. We'll see. That would be nice with white, but no, just gonna do this color. I was gonna order yarn. Okay, I put myself, I used to have I used to work in a place and I had a regional vice president. And of course he watched the finances and I was part of finance, and he always would say, the checkbook is closed. So my yarn buying checkbook right now is closed. I bought yarn with the little sequins in it, and I bought yarn, sock yarn that's sparkly. I bought Arne Carlos yarn because they have now their own line of yarn, and lo and behold, oh, I have some stuff I can show you. Lo and behold, I started it. It's the fjord. They say it's the mountain, the water. And I'm not feeling it right now. That doesn't mean I won't finish it. And I don't have the band. Oh, I do have the band. I'm lying just my way through this podcast. So they have their new line of sock yarn. And some of you might be familiar that they used to design for Regia. And they're not doing that anymore, but they could keep their design. So they started rolling out their own sock yarn. It's funny because when I read it, it's made in Romania, but on here, it's a Germany address. The Germans, in my opinion, are one of the best, and the Norwegians, Europeans are like the sock gurus. Very robust, very, feels scratchy, but once you wash it, it's just fine. So, Arne Carlos. So excited to finish that in the near future. That's more like a winter project. Like it gets cold in February here. I also found Crazy Trio from Addie, one of my needle box. I actually bought 3 because the first one I had some break. Totally my fault. But the piece that's broken I use for cables as a cable needle. So it has this little booklet in it. And it has a little sock knitting instruction in German and English. How fun is that? I haven't done it like that. But it has shoe sizes. I didn't even notice that. So let's see, I have 38, 39, and it says stitches 56. That's what I do. 28 per needle. Look at me, I figured it out. And it shows rows, but I eyeball the rows. All right, now to the section, I'm too stupid to. I'm too stupid to read patterns, and it's bothering me because it cannot be that difficult. I mean, millions of people use patterns. Maybe I should start with a German instruction. pattern. But my niece said to try, oh my gosh, I forgot. It's a raglan sweater. And there's a video to it. So I'm probably gonna try that. But abbreviations are super hard and I cannot figure out what all those big letters next to each other mean. I could make notes to make my life easier. When I did this, it has SSK, K2 together. No, not SS. No, it's not S. Well, anyways, there are very few I can do, but sometimes there's like a whole section that is abbreviated, and you have to look back, knit 1, purl 2, and so forth, and it's smooshed together into, and it just says in the instructions to make that section, and it has a name. They call it a name. For example, I just make that up. Now do the lamp section, for example, the light section. And it's a whole bunch of sequence of knitting and purling. And it's just one thing I have a hard time with. The same, there was a time that jazzercise, and there was a sequence of different moves you had to make, and I just, it doesn't stick with me. It's very strange. But, you know, that's why you just keep on trying. I gave up after my first sock, and I keep on making them. So I have this twice shear cheap ruler. It's for socks. I could not figure out how to use it. I bought it and couldn't. And one night my husband is like, oh, that's to measure socks. And he just stick it in, and oh my God, oh, this would be a size 7. I'm like, how did he do that? How did he do that? And then finally I figured it out. So I felt really stupid. For Christmas, I got my first project bag. And it's sheep. It's so cute, the sheep. And I don't know what brand it is. Doesn't have a, I took away the little tag. And it has inside pockets and has outside pocket. Also has holes to put your yarn through. One they forgot to make the hole. Oh, it comes out, never mind. And it's lined inside with stripes, so it's very nice. Like it. All right. Now I chit-chat a little bit about Game of Wool. Oh my, so much controversy. And I feel to take it with a grain of salt. It's the same, it's basically the same concept as baking. They have to do different things, and they have designed already different things. I think it was really entertaining. I really enjoy to watch it every week, and it was really, really cool. And the first controversial thing was the Fair Isle vest they had to make, and I never saw it as Fair Isle. It was Fair Isle inspired design. That's what they said. That's what I've heard in the first episode. I wondered how they had 12 hours to make a design, since they probably were there for 4 or 5 days. I figured they do it in sections because you cannot physically, I mean, you probably could, but knit 12 hours with big needles, my hand would just fall off. But I watched an interview with Tom Daly. He was on a podcast and he said that they only did a few hours a day and they they put it in sections so they could rest in between. So that answered my question for sure, that they don't have to sit there and knit for 12 hours. Another thing too was how Tom Daly was dressed. It was so amazing, those outfits. He said he didn't create those himself. But they're fun, and it is to inspire your creativity, what you can do with knitting, crocheting. And it was right on the mark. I like this. The spaghetti at the end outfit was pretty interesting. And then the sweater underneath, I was like, wow, that looks very disheveled. It looked like it had holes and stuff. But I guess that was part of the design. The judges, I watched a little interview with them on YouTube, and they are designers for knitwear. And some of them, I don't remember which one, but did haute couture, and one assisted Nike was creating a shoe or shoes, and because of that, some Nike shoes have a knitting kind of shoes here, but a knitting kind of fabric on the shoe because it's more stretchy than if you would weave it, and that was one of their ideas. I was sometimes a little sidetracked on the hairstyle of the lady with the hair that was all over the place and the knitting needles. And the last episode, she had a donut in it. I'm not sure what that entailed, but she was very artsy dressed, and it was just, I saw it as art, her interpretation of knitting on the being a judge on the show and show off knitting art. So I enjoyed it. I hope they have another season. Can't wait if they do. And the only thing that really bothered me is all the crocheting, because they said Britain's best knitter, and crocheting is totally different. Crocheting is just a different type of yarn work, and some of it was fine. And I understand that you had to bring in crocheting because you cannot knit figurines and stuff like that in a short period of time. Crocheting is much faster and has results much more, and that you could figure out. But it was just a little disheartening that there was so much crocheting. I think the applicants, in my opinion, should have had crocheting and knitting experience to be on the same level entering. Holger, the winner, had designed, sorry if I spoiled it for anyone, he designed already fashion. So he had a good understanding of garment composition. But I think they all should have been on the same, they should have had both skills in the repertoire, in my opinion. But who am I? I'm not a caster for a show or just a creator of a new show, but those are my 2 cents to it. It was very emotional for those people. Wow. Yeah, Rowan apparently was the sponsor. I hope the candidates or the contestants got something out of it. I start watching a review of a knitter podcast on the other day, and she was like, saying that it was too much time to knit 12 hours in a stretch, but that was not the case. And it should have been more judged on the knitting in detail. I think that's not the case. I still think it's an entertainment value. It's like the bakers when you show the Great British Baking Bake Off. It's the same thing. Some people are better with yeast dough, or they're better with bread dough, and they go out of their comfort zone to create something else. So, or you have too much humidity, and wheat is a living thing, and sometimes it has more moisture and less, so it just is not the same day twice when you bake. And knitting, it's the same. You have days where you just it's harder to knit, you lose your mojo. And if you're on a show, I can see that it's like, oh my gosh, now I have to make a dog outfit, and I wish that wasn't the case. So kudos for all the candidates, and I think Holger deserved it. He put a lot of his work, looked very good. So did I mean the ramen he made was I just loved it. So anyways, that's all for today. I hope you watch my next show, podcast, probably once a month. I don't know yet. But I'm gonna do a sock episode. No, that doesn't sound good. A sock episode, and introduce some of my socks, what yarns I used, what I like about them, what was challenging. And I hope to see you next time. If you like this episode, please press like. Please comment. If you have any tips on reading patterns, what helped you, or if you have any questions for me, how do I make my hair look so frizzy, or anything like that, let me know. Goodbye, and thank you.